Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball. Join us Friday, April 24th through Sunday, April 26th for our first homestand of the season and our 5th anniversary celebration. Score big with $5 tickets. Grab $5 domestic draft beers. Enjoy $5 popcorn. And yes, 2 Nathan's hot dogs for just $5. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And I'm Jake Novak filling in for Roger Stone, but we have Roger Stone on the phone right now. And Roger, if you could just indulge me for 1 minute, I just want to give everyone updated on that referendum in Virginia. 75% of the votes counted, and right now the no votes lead by fewer than 31,000 votes. It is going to come down to the wire there. I will keep you updated as we go on. But I understand, Roger, that you have been in Washington, D.C. in the last few days. And what is going on? I mean, there's so much going on right now. But I'm going to let you tell us what you think is the top scuttlebutt going on right now in our nation's capital.
Well, Jake, first of all, I want to congratulate you for being in the Stone Zone and for manning the fort while the president called me to Washington, D.C. Of course, as soon as you get here, you're kind of sucked up by the vortex. And therefore, I saw the president today for several hours to talk politics. And some very, I think, monumental developments came from that. I also saw Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Of course, the entire time, the president is getting reports about the peace negotiations that are ongoing as he tries to wrap up this war. But I must tell you, the president looked amazingly fit. He looked very rested. He was ebullient. And, of course, he's always warm with me. We've been friends for 50 years. He told Marco Rubio about how I first told him to run for president as early as 1988. I saw the Trump magic before many, and he wasn't ready by his own admission. It was not the right time for him, but we did take a historic trip to New Hampshire, and he kind of wanted to test drive the model, as it were. I remember very distinctly because the Portsmouth, New Hampshire Chamber of Commerce had Vice President George H.W. Bush the previous month. He had about 500 people. It was the largest dinner or lunch, I should say, that they'd ever had. There were over 1,500 people showed up to see Trump land in his black helicopter. And it was vintage Trump. I mean, I go back and I look at his speech in New Hampshire, and he talks about many of the same things he talks about today. Our NATO allies ripping us off, not paying their fair share for the defense. The lousy trade deals where, as the president said at the time, we send social workers and they send their best and brightest, and the need to rebuild our national defense. It's amazing how consistent Donald Trump has been. And he released an extraordinary endorsement today after our meeting. The president made what the New York Post called a blockbuster endorsement in the Republican primary race to succeed the North Country Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. Elise Stefanik, a great American, in my opinion, a great Republican, somebody who was early for Donald Trump. But the president threw his weight behind Anthony Constantino, who is an eccentric upstate entrepreneur, according to the New York Post, in his race against liberal Republican State Assemblyman Robert Smullen in this June primary. The president said, quote, "It is my great honor to endorse America First patriot Anthony Constantino, who's running to represent the fantastic people of New York's 21st district." That's what the president said on the Truth Social. He said Anthony is strongly supported by many of our highly respected MAGA warriors in our movement, such as Mayor Rudy Giuliani and Roger Stone. Proud to say it. I am a strong supporter of Anthony's. Anthony has been such a great supporter, and people don't know this. He put a large controversial sign on the roof of his printing company in Amsterdam, New York, and the local Democrat mayor threatened to put him in jail. Now, you would think that that's a First Amendment free speech issue, but of course the local Democrats went completely and totally insane. And that sign is still there, Jake, and Anthony Constantino is paying a $1,000 a day fine because he refuses to take the sign down. That's $365,000 a year. This is an epic endorsement. It has upset the Republican establishment. My good friend Ed Cox has thrown his support to Robert Smullen, although Smullen was never really a Trump supporter, and the Conservative Party has endorsed him, but Smullen is not really a conservative. He's voted, for example, to recognize the Muslim holidays as official holidays in New York State. He's voted for some of this transgender nonsense. It's very clear the president stands with those who stand with him. This is an epic endorsement, and of course, it reverberated across the news today.
You know, Roger, we've got you here. You have all of your experience as a strategist and as someone who understands the landscape. What's your take on the midterms right now? And are people making a mistake in saying that this Iran war is going to be the big key to the midterms? I'm not on board with that.
Jake, I agree with you. Look, the only thing predictable about Donald Trump is he's completely and totally unpredictable. And therefore, the panicans, those who are hit the panic button and assume that we are going to lose, don't understand, first of all, how volatile this electorate is, how the underpinnings from the big, beautiful bill are the largest tax cut in American history, doing away with the tax on retirement, doing away with the tax on tips, doing away with the tax on Social Security payments for 88% of the people. So the underpinnings that are, I think, very ably put in place by Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent, who I think is one of the president's very best appointees. And then there's the question of oil prices. Now, John Catsimatidis, who is an oil man's oil man, did a great interview. I played it in the Stone Zone. It was so good, where he basically pointed out that oil prices will come back down relatively quickly once this war is out of the way. So I think Democrats are counting their chickens, as we used to say, far too early. And for those who say, oh, the House is lost, no, nothing is lost. This entire thing is in play. These results in Virginia are very encouraging. Virginia used to be a reliably red state. Then it has moved blue as the northern Virginia suburbs have become more and more liberal, and as the Richmond suburbs have become more and more liberal. It is now a Democrat state. The fact that Republicans are competitive today in this constitutional amendment regarding redistricting, congressional redistricting, where the Democrats want to take 10 congressional seats and leave the Republicans with 2, is very, very encouraging. Now, it's not clear whether the Republicans will win tonight, but the fact that this is even close is very, very encouraging.
Roger, I talk a lot about how in the old days, the Tip O'Neill maxim, all politics is local, was always true, but it was especially true, of course, in midterm elections. We don't really have – actually, there's no such thing as a national election in America. At the best, it's state by state. Even our presidential elections are state by state. That said, it does seem like the Democrat Party has moved away from that. I have never seen a more central office national party in this country than we see now. It seems like the DNC controls everyone from dog catcher up to governor in their party. And I wonder how that can't play that great in some of these midterm elections where you have to prove that you're for your district first and the party second. I mean, how is this even working for them?
No, it really isn't. It's because the term moderate Democrat is an oxymoron. Their party has been taken over by a radical clique of Marxist fanatics who want to push transgenderism as a key part of their agenda. The truth is they don't have any agenda at all other than their hatred for Donald Trump, and some would say their hatred for the country. At the same time, Trump has secured the southern border like never before, achieving negative net migration for the first time in 50 years, slashed the illegal border apprehensions by over 95%, and he's removed 2.6 million illegal immigrants through very aggressive deportation and self-deportation policies. This is a win for the country. Joe Biden's border policy was open borders, and I think as many as 26 to 28 million illegals could be in the country. We have no idea how many of them are terrorists, how many of them are dangerous criminals. The entire peace through strength policies, these are the policies of Dwight Eisenhower and Ronald Reagan, not the policies of the Bushes and the neocon Republicans. The United States and Israel launched the decisive Operation Epic Fury, but no boots on the ground, not tens of thousands of American casualties. We took advantage of our ballistic missile capabilities, and we attacked the terrorist proxies. But it was a very focused, very limited, but extraordinarily lethal and successful operation to date, following, of course, the the Midnight Hammer, the first attack. So the president, I think, has demonstrated that he will defend the country. And these policies, I think, are counting among the voters.